it's always loud. Of course, I got it turned up too, so I can hear. But
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please hang up and redial the number.
it's wanting me to add the deal, probably.
Eagle Broadcasting.
Good morning.
Hi, Mr. Sammy. How are you?
Pretty good. You doing all right?
Yeah.
I guess
Great.
we can check in with Miss Janet and see where we stand on the squeeze shoot and stuff, and see about getting ready to get on the air here in a little bit.
All righty, sir. Hold on just a minute, okay?
Okay.
Hi, Sammy.
Good morning.
I didn't realize Deanna was up there. I told her, I said, moving forward, I'll look for your number so she doesn't have to pick it up.
Oh, okay.
Although you won't, yeah, I mean, we'll be staying together through this whole thing, but just in case something happens.
All right.
I'll know to look for you.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was going to say, okay, we've got, in about 5 seconds, it's going to start in the Chicago Board of Trade, which is 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then whenever you want to do the interviews, like, what was I going to say? You wanted to start with community insurance professionals.
Yes.
Is that who it was?
Yes.
After that, I have an Evans Pipe and Steel. So when it goes to Evans Pipe and Steel, I'll take it off of the, where I have it on audition for the board,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so that way I can give you a countdown and they're not hearing that. Because when it goes to the ad, Daisy will take it back, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work great. And the way it's looking right now, Mark has got, hopefully either Bailey or Skylar Moore will come up and visit with us somewhere around 12:30. But he's got a bunch of representatives from different things here today. And
So he's busy.
yeah, one of the ladies from Bear that make the fly tags for the ear fly tags with the the fly insecticide on them on the ear tags.
Uh-huh.
She's here today, and Mark asked if I wanted to talk to her a little bit, and I said, yeah. I said that would be fine because I mean here we are getting springtime,
Yeah.
fly season's almost here, so we can. She's
Yeah.
she's all nervous about it, but I said we'll just talk about your product and. And Mark says, yeah. He said, you just toot your own horn a little bit and brag on yourself. And I said, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's neat that they've got ear tags that have the medicine in it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it saves a step or two there in your process of keeping the flies off your cattle. So
Yeah. Has that always been around, or?
they've been around for about 20, 25 years, something like that.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's pretty cool.
They keep perfecting them and improving them and stuff like that, but they've been around for a while. So
Oh,
So I
cool.
talked to her somewhere around 12:15, something like that. That'll
Okay.
still give us time to put in the Ag Today headline news, that 97220, and we can check the midday livestock report, the 97213. We can squeeze those in. That'll give us time. And then between her,
You mean before and after her, or? Nice.
yeah, it'd probably be before her, I would think.
Okay.
Because
So 97220, 97213.
Right,
Okay.
right. We'll probably put those in before her because after I get through what I'm looking at here, I'll come on and say, who I am and where I'm at and go all through that. And
Mhm.
then we'll play that community professionals interview, the community insurance professionals.
You want to play that in the beginning after you do your intro now,
Yeah.
after you're farming in the okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I'll do that first thing out of the top, and then that should get us up to the noon hour, and
Okay.
then I can come back and visit a little bit, and then we can play the ag headline news and the livestock report, and then maybe she'll be
Okay.
ready to visit by then, and then anything we can squeeze in, whether it's a commodity update or one of those little farm agri breaks that you have or whatever, we can squeeze
Okay.
in, and ads too. I mean, we've got ads to play.
Right.
We can put
All right,
those
you're
in.
farming in the 4 states. Okay, you're farming in the 4 states just started. So, okay, when we come out of this, you want to go to community professionals. And then remember that got Evans Pipe and Steel following that. So when that starts.
Okay, that'll work. So yeah, after this intro, you can just send it to me, and then then that first thing we'll play will be the community insurance professionals.
All right, sounds good. Let me get back up there. All right. Ready, and 2, and 1.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Farm in the Four States here on KRMO AM 990 Ag Source Radio. Going to jump in a little bit early today. Usually don't start Farm in the Four States until around 12:10, 12:15 after the ABC News and the Missouri Net News. But we are on the road today as we continue our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. And we're at the Joplin Regional Stockyard, so we're going to go ahead and change the format up a little bit today. Instead of going to the machine shed, we're going to jump right into Farm in the Four States. We'll be with you all the way until 1 o'clock. Sammy Clapper on the road. Daisy Kaya is running the camera for us today, as we are also streaming live video today from the Joplin Regional Stockyards at Farm in the Four States web TV channel. You can go to citylinktv.com and search for the Farming in the Four States channel, or you can go to krmo.com, click on the Farming in the Four States icon, and then you can find a link to our web TV channel there as well. It is sale day here at the Joplin Regional Stockyard, so a very busy day. We are located here in the cafe, and as we talked last Saturday when we were at Fort Scott, that's a gem of the livestock market world, is the cafes at the sale barns. They have some of the best food around. A lot of people don't realize it unless you're actually buying or selling cattle. But Daisy's panning the camera around right now, getting some views of the cafe here at Joplin Regional. They got some great food. And you can always just drop by and get yourself something to eat and enjoy the sales, whether you're selling cattle or not, because the sale ring is right outside the cafe. They got a big bank of windows so you can watch what's going on and enjoy the atmosphere and the great food. But we do appreciate the folks from Joplin Regional Stockyards having us over today as our second barn that we are going to visit here on our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour, all part of our Ag Source programming here at KRMO AM 990. Coming up Wednesday, we're going to head down to Green Forest, Arkansas. On Thursday, we'll head up I-44. We're on I-44 today. We'll head up I-44 to the northeast and go to the Mid-Missouri Stockyards at Lebanon. And then Friday of this week, we'll head down into Arkansas. As Wednesday, we're at Green Forest. Friday, we head down to Springdale. And then next week, a week from Wednesday, we will be at the Springfield Livestock Marketing Center. And then a week from Thursday, March the 16th, I believe is what the date is, we will wrap up the 7 Barns in 7 Days tour at Coffeyville Livestock Market in Coffeyville, Kansas. But today we're here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, and we'd like to thank General Manager Mark Harmon and all the folks here at Joplin Regional for all the hospitality today, and we're looking forward to today's program. We got a couple of interviews lined up for you, and also a couple of guests. We're going to try to get one of the Moore boys, either Bailey or Schuyler, on the air here today. They're busy working down in the sale ring, but hopefully around 12:30 we'll be able to visit with one of those two and to talk a little bit about not only what's happening here today, but how things have been going here at Joplin Regional. And we've got a couple of other folks lined up that we might be able to visit with here today as well. Of course, looking at a little bit of the history of the Joplin Regional Stockyards, anyone from here in the 4 states knows about Joplin Regional. They've been around a long, long time. They started way back in the 1930s, and they started out there just west of Range Line in Joplin. And, of course, then they went there down by the railroad tracks in Joplin, Missouri. They were there for a long, long time. Back in 1986, current owners, Jackie Moore and Steve Owens, along with some other partners, purchased the stockyards, and they renamed it Joplin Regional. It stayed there in Joplin until 1995, and that's when it moved from North Range Line and Newman Road out here on I-44, exit 22, between Carthage and Sarcoxy. And it's been here since 1995. And then in 2001, Jackie Moore and Steve Owens took over as sole owners of the Joplin Regional Stockyards. And as you probably just gathered from what I said a while ago about hoping to get a chance to talk with Bailey or Skylar Moore, this is a family-owned and operated business, as Bailey and Skylar are Jackie Moore's sons. So they continue to run the Joplin Regional Stockyards, and it has grown into one of the largest stockyards here in the Midwest. In fact, the only one I know that might rival it is the one in Oklahoma City. They market hundreds of thousands of head of cattle through here every year. And the Joplin Regional Stockyards, again, one of the largest in the United States. They serve over 60 counties in Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Monday's feeder cattle sale, and we've got a lot of great offerings going through the sale ring this morning as they'll continue selling after lunch and right on into the afternoon. Wednesdays is their cow and bull sale. They just came off a special cow and bull sale last Saturday, and they're going to have another one coming up here in a couple of weeks, as Mark Harmon was letting us know about that. So stay tuned to KRMO here in the next week or so, and we'll be getting more information about that special cow and bull sale coming up a week from this coming Saturday here at Joplin Regional. But a great time to be here today. Folks are starting to come into the cafe and enjoy the food as we are getting closer to the lunch hour, and we do appreciate all the folks for the hospitality here today. And while you're here at Joplin Regional, don't forget to look for the 7 Barns in 7 Days edition of the Stockman's Record Book. From KRMO Ag Source Radio, we brought some over today. We've distributed them down in the lower level, in the entryway. When you come in, there's several tables down there that's got a lot of information, and you'll find those 7 Barns in 7 Days Stockman's Record Books downstairs. We've also distributed a few up here in the cafe. So if you come in to get something to eat, you can find some of those up here as well. 7 Barns in 7 Days Stockman's Record Book. It's got all the regular features of the Stockman's Record from KRMO. It's got pages for your breeding records, your calving records. It's also got sale date information from the area stockyards here throughout the 4-state region, supplement records, and it also includes the new VFD pages as well, with the VFD regulations that went into effect back at the beginning of the year. We've got pages in there to keep track of your veterinary feed directive information. So all types of useful information in the Stockman's Record Book, besides all of the ads from our sponsors and advertisers. And they all have products that can improve and enhance your operation and can help you out, whether it's machinery, whether it's feed, whether it's technology, whether it's insurance, whatever the case may be. Check out all the ads in our Stockman's Record Book, as all the folks that are listed there, our sponsors and advertisers, can be very, very beneficial to your operation. And we've also got in the back of the book, we've got a little short bio of each one of the 7 livestock markets that we'll be visiting during this 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. We've got little bios on every one of them, and you'll find one about the Joplin Regional Stockyards right there in those pages as well. Great handy tool to use to keep track of your livestock operation, and also benefit from all the sponsors and advertisers and their products that are listed there as well. The Stockman's Record Book from KRMO Ag Source Radio, special 7 Barns in 7 Days edition, and you'll be finding those at your local stockyards right now. We dropped some off at Fort Scott last Saturday, and we've delivered them hot off the press here today at the Joplin Regional Stockyards. All right, we are going to play for you coming up right now a pre-recorded interview with one of our sponsors, and we're going to be visiting with Jill Buskey. Jill Buskey is with Community Insurance Professionals. Now, they cover southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. Jill is headquartered down in Goodman, Missouri, and she is going to be visiting with us about some of the products they offer in the world of insurance. And we all know it doesn't matter what type of ag operation you have, insurance has to be a part of it nowadays to make sure you're covered in case of problems or anything of that nature. And many government programs, you have to have some sort of insurance if you're dealing with the USDA and the FSA to help support some of those programs. So again, we've got this interview coming your way right now, and we're visiting with Jill Buskey from Community Insurance Professionals. And after the interview, we'll be back with you here at Joplin Regional. We've got several things to go over here, and we'll be with you right here on AM 990 up until 1 o'clock. We'll get some of the regular features as well. We'll go over the ag calendar, also check the weather, and then get some of the brownfield reports also for you today here, Farming the 4 States on the road on AM 990 and Farming in the 4 States Web TV from the Joplin Regional Stockyards. Right now, though, we're going to visit with the folks from Community Insurance Professionals.
Hey folks, Sean here at the Concrete Works. We're located at the end of the rainbow, and we do things the old-fashioned way. We mine our own gravel, we batch our own concrete, we build our own custom forms, and every day we put the concrete into the forms. Your cattle will be happy campers eating out of our field bunks, line bunks, wide J bunks, commodity feed bunks, and freeze-proof stock tanks too. We'll bring them to your farm on our own locomotive, and remember folks, that ain't no bull.
Continuous fit, heavy-duty gate, heavy-duty hay feeder, Yeti cooler, motor, and supply, pipe and tubing, and post. Visit their website at www.kevinstevensfield.com.
Okay.
All right.
10 seconds. And then I've got the morning line news and the midday livestock report queued.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Ready? And 3, 2, and 1.
Sammy Clapper back with you here, Farm of the Four States on the road today, part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour, and we are live at the Joplin Regional Stockyards. It's a Monday and it's sale day at Joplin Regional, and it's a busy place. We're set up here in the cafe. Daisy's got the camera right now trained on the sale ring, and cattle being sold as we speak, and folks coming in and out of the cafe enjoying lunch and also being involved in the sale going on here today. Monday's feeder cattle sale at Joplin Regional, and they've already had a lot of cattle go through the ring early this morning. They'll be continuing to selling cattle on into the early afternoon. And you can see what's going on Farming in the Four States Web TV. You can go to citylinktv.com and then search for Farming in the Four States. It's right there in the center column in the Missouri section. Or you can go to krmo.com, click on the Farming in the Four States logo, and then you'll see a link to our Web TV channel through that as well. So, again, thanks to all the folks here at Joplin Regional for having us over today, as we are glad to be here as part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. Going to go ahead and jump into some of the regular features of Farm of the Four States here on a Monday, and we do appreciate you being with us here on this Monday afternoon. Checking the weather, right now we've got 70 degrees around the four-state region. Humidity's up there, 68%. Mostly cloudy and very, very windy. The winds are blowing out of the south 20 to 25 miles an hour, gusts up around 35 to 40 miles an hour. And those winds are going to continue all day long. This is in advance of a cold front that is headed our way that is not only going to bring some much-needed rain to the four-state region, but it may bring some severe weather to our area as well. And that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as the day goes along. They've got a wind advisory in effect until 6 p.m. this evening. And then tonight, there's a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect, and it will run during the overnight hours. Most of the local forecasters, along with the national forecasters, are saying the heavier, more severe chances of weather might not come in until after dark. So we'll keep an eye on that. You can stay tuned to KRMO AM 990 as Weather Eye will update you if there are any weather watches or warnings put into effect and let you know exactly where those severe thunderstorms are. But again, very windy today. No outdoor burning, please. And that wind advisory, and it's gusting enough if you're traveling the interstate. When we were on our way over here this morning to Joplin Regional, the semis, you could see the semis being moved around by the gusts of wind. So very hazardous today. Do be careful if you're out doing any work, especially with stuff up above your head. It could blow off, injure you, so do be careful. Take precautions, and if you're out driving, both hands on the wheel today, because it could be jerking you off in the ditch before you know what happened. Again, it's going to be around 70 to 75 degrees. We're already at 70 degrees here during the noon hour. The barometer at 29.77 inches, and they're calling for a 40% chance of showers later this afternoon, and then that increases to 90% chance of severe thunderstorms overnight. It's only going to get down to around 40 degrees as an overnight low, and then the rain will taper off towards Tuesday morning. The sun comes back out sometime on Tuesday, but the high will not be nearly as warm as today. We're only going to get up close to 60, where we're looking at highs around 75 today. Then it's going to cool off Tuesday night back down into the 30s after the passage of the cold front. But the temperatures bounce right back up to 70 degrees by Wednesday and Thursday, and now they're calling for a chance of rain Thursday into Thursday night. So we might get a couple of opportunities for some much-needed precipitation here as we go through the week, and we definitely could use some of that rain, that is for sure. Looking at the satellite picture right now, there is a very thin line of clouds, a narrow band that stretches from up in northern Missouri down through southwest Missouri and out into southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Now this heavy band of clouds right now is just to the north of Joplin, and then it goes back down into extreme southeast Kansas and then stretches down towards Miami and Veneta, Oklahoma, and then back down towards Tulsa. Now there's not any rain showing up on the radar right now with this initial band of clouds. There are some sprinkles every now and then and a few little mists that will hit your windshield, I'm sure. We saw some of that coming over here today. But then there's a clearing line behind out around Wichita that stretches back up towards Topeka, and somewhere on the opposite side, on the north and west side of that clearing line, is where this severe weather is expected to develop later this afternoon, and then it will push its way through the four-state region. So out in central Kansas and western Kansas, this severe weather will develop, and then it will push its way through. And they're saying it should be moving fairly rapidly, but some of those storms could pack some punch as they move through the four-state region. So it's definitely going to be something we need to keep an eye on. There's a few little light scattered showers way up by Columbia, Missouri right now, but they are so light, some of that might not even be reaching the ground. But nothing else really showing up on the radar throughout the four-state region as the heavier rains and the severe weather expected to move in. Later this evening, we might start seeing some of that formation of storms before it gets dark, but I heard many of the local forecasters are saying somewhere between 8 and probably 1 or 2 in the morning is when these storms will be pushing through. So very windy today in advance of this system, and hopefully we can get some much-needed rain and keep our fingers crossed that the weather doesn't get too bad. Right now, the largest threats are hail and gusty winds, but the National Weather Service, as well as the local forecasters, are also saying could be some maybe isolated tornadic activity as well. So springtime right around the corner, and it's already spring-like weather here in the four states. Okay, from the weather, we're going to jump into the ag calendar and run over a few things that's going to be happening this week and into next week. Of course, we're going to be very busy this week here on KRMO AM 990. We're here at Joplin Regional Stockyards today with the Farming in the Four States show and part of the 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. Wednesday, we're going to be down at Green Forest, Arkansas, as we head down to Green Forest and visit with the folks down there. And should be a lot of fun. The North Arkansas livestock down there at Green Forest, and we'll be visiting with them on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we head up I-44 to Lebanon, Missouri, to the Mid-Missouri Stockyards, and we'll be visiting with those folks up there. And then Friday, it's back down to Arkansas, as we will be down at Farmers Livestock in Springdale, Arkansas. And those are our barns that we'll be visiting this week. So 4 days of Farming in the Four States on the road. Our only day we will not be on the road this week is Tuesday, so we got a very busy schedule this week. Looking at some of the other activities around the area, coming up tomorrow down in Cassville, Missouri, from 6:30 to 9 p.m. at the courthouse, they will host a workshop and be discussing Missouri's complex fence laws. Now, they've had several of these fence law webinars and seminars here in the last few weeks, and this one will be down in Cassville tomorrow night from 6:30 to 9 p.m. And for more information, you can contact the Berry County Extension Office at 847-3161. That's 847-3161. Also on March the 8th and the 9th in West Plains, Missouri, there will be a Bringing Back the American Small Farm Conference at the West Plains Civic Center. For more information, call the Howell County Extension Office at 417-293-0590. March the 11th, this Saturday, back down in Cassville at the Berry County Museum, Berry County Master Gardeners will have a Let's Get Growing workshop. To register and for more information, call the Berry County Extension Office at 417-847-3161. Coming up tomorrow in West Plains, the Howell County Forage and Beef Conference. This will be held there in West Plains beginning at 5:30 in the evening. Call 256-2391 for more information. Barton County will have Master Gardener Corps training beginning tomorrow, March the 7th, at the Barton County Extension Office. Call 682-3579 to sign up and get registered. Berry County, Missouri will have a private pesticide applicator training session coming up Monday, March the 13th. And you can call the Extension Office, 847-3161 for more information. Jasper County Livestock and Forage Conference will be held Thursday, March the 16th in Carthage, Missouri. Call the Extension Office at 417-358-2158 for more information. The 98th Annual Ag Production Conference and Greene County Soil and Water District meeting will be March the 21st at the Springfield Livestock Marketing Center there on I-44. Call 417-881-8909 to sign up and get registered. And Christian County will have their Livestock and Forage Conference in Clever, Missouri at the high school cafeteria on Thursday, March the 23rd. Call the Christian County Extension Office at 581-3558 to get registered. There will be a beef cattle reproduction management workshop in Greenfield, Missouri on March the 18th, hosted by the Dade County Extension Office. Call 417-637-2112 to register. Beef Reprogene Workshop will be at the Springfield Livestock Marketing Center on March the 16th. You need to register by March the 13th by calling 417-466-3102. That's 466-3102. Okay, let's see what else do we got here. Beef Cattle Production Management Workshop in Lamar, Missouri, coming up on March the 20th. And this will be at the Barton County Extension Office. Call 417-682-3579 for more information and to register. We've got the Ozark Spring Roundup at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds. That's coming up on March 24th, 25th, and 26th. And prior to that, the American Quarter Horse Association will be having their annual convention down in San Antonio, Texas, March 17th through the 20th. You can get a complete schedule of events by going online, aqha.com. That's aqha.com. Don't forget some dates to be aware of at your local USDA FSA Service Center. March the 15th is the deadline and the closing date for non-insured crop disaster assistance program for hay, forage, and pasture. That's March the 15th. And March the 31st is the deadline for prior year harvested small grains if you are participating in the marketing assistant loans or loan deficiency payment program. So drop by your local FSA office and get your acreage reports turned in, get the paperwork filled out before those deadlines, and you can get more information from those places. Just check in with your county FSA office, and they can get you signed up and taken care of. Again, today we're live on the road at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. We got things kicked off last Saturday at Fort Scott, Kansas. Today we're here at Joplin Regional, and we're glad to be along with everyone here today. Cafe is filling up as it is lunchtime, so a lot of the folks that were enjoying the sale activities earlier today are coming in to get some of the fine food here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards Cafe, and then they'll get back to selling cattle. They're still selling cattle, so the sale never stops. It's just the folks that are watching the sale or that have dropped cattle off for the sale have taken the opportunity to come in and get something to eat. But they're still selling cattle, and Daisy's got the camera trained on the sale ring right now as they continue to run livestock through here at Joplin Regional. We're going to take another break, and we're going to check in with the Ag Headline News from Brownfield. We're also going to check in with the Midday Livestock Report, hear from some of our sponsors as well. We're hoping to visit with a representative from Bayer about fly tags. Fly ear tags in particular, as spring is right around the corner and fly season's nearly upon us. So we're hoping to visit with them here in a little bit as well. And then sometime around 12:30, if they can break away, and it is sale day, so we know they're very busy, but they're going to try to either get Bailey or Skylar Moore to visit with us a little bit about Joplin Regional. But right now we get the reports from Brownfield.
Clear.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
I'm trying to think
Uh,
what's the next.
oh,
What's the next? Just in case my interviews don't get here.
right.
Da.
I've got you.
Hey folks, Sean here at the Concrete Works. We're located at the end of the rainbow, and we do things the old-fashioned way. We mine our own gravel, we batch our own concrete, we build our own custom forms, and every day we put the concrete into the forms. Your cattle will be happy campers eating out of our field bunks, line bunks, wide J bunks, commodity feed bunks, and freeze-proof stock tanks too. We'll bring them to your farm on our own locomotive, and remember folks, that ain't no bull.
Flying H Genetics.
Okay.
Flying H Genetics. It has March 2nd, but here.
Well, there's two different cuts to that, and I've never listened. Oh, she stood up. I don't know whether that's good or bad. No, no, she sat back down. She was talking to somebody. Intrude on. Tell Mark to shut up and quit talking, and I'm taking over.
Yeah. Yeah. I threw a weather eye in after Wydell just to give us a little time. Well, when you were talking about it being windy, we just had a guy, we just got an irrigation system in at the house.
Right.
So the gentleman came out seeded because, of course, the yard was torn up, and it's been so dry. And when you were talking about the wind and everything, I'm thinking about the seed flying off.
Yeah.
I just texted him, and I said, do you want us to water, and are you going to come over and show us how to operate the system? So, you know.
It'll be blowing everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, we started on the Wydell.
You might get one other thing loaded afterwards because I'm trying to see. Oh, no, she's still, I just saw she's still eating, so, okay. Because that's what I was trying to see, if they still had food in front of them, and because I don't want to interrupt their food.
Right. I forgot to give you money for you and Daisy to get something to eat today. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry. Mark said the food was on him, so.
Oh, well, that was nice.
Yeah.
We got 24 seconds in weather eye. Do you want me to send it back to you and then us come out and do Biozyme?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go from,
Okay.
just send it back to me, and I'll just update everybody where we're at, and then we'll do the Biozyme.
Okay. All right. 5 seconds.
Okay.
And 3, 2, and 1.
Sammy Clapper back with you here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, farming in the 4 states on AM 990 Ag Source Radio, part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour, and we're live on the road here at Joplin Regional. It's a Monday and it's a sale day, and this place is hopping today. A lot of cattle coming through the sale ring, and also a lot of folks here in the cafe where we're set up for our program. And we appreciate all the folks from Joplin Regional and all the hospitality today. It's always a fun time coming over here to broadcast. And again, today, another great day. Cloudy right now outside, but very warm, very windy, though, on top of that. And there is the threat of some severe weather maybe later today and into the overnight hours. We'll be back on the road Wednesday when we head down to Green Forest, Arkansas. Thursday, we go up to Mid-Missouri Stockyards in Lebanon. And then Friday, we'll be down in Springdale, Arkansas. And then next week, we wrap up the 7 Barns in 7 Days tour next Wednesday. A week from this Wednesday, we'll be out at Springfield, Missouri at the Livestock Marketing Center, and then Coffeyville, Kansas a week from this Thursday. We were hoping to get word with be able to talk to, I should say, if I can get the words out of my mouth, be able to talk with a couple of people here today. But as we mentioned earlier, too, it is sale day, so there's a lot of work going on here today and a lot of things happening. So we'll still keep our fingers crossed that we might be able to visit with some of the folks here. We're still going to be on the air for another 35 to 40 minutes up until 1 o'clock, so we've got time to get that done. But right now, we're going to let them continue their work, and maybe they can break away here a little bit before we get off the air later this afternoon and be able to visit with them. We had a couple of people lined up that we're hoping to be able to talk to today. But as I mentioned, since it is so busy today, so many things happening on a sale day, we do not want to interfere with their work today either. 70 degrees right now around the 4-state region, very warm. The wind gusts are already up there, 35 to 40 miles an hour. Winds, when the storms come through, they said could gust in excess of 50 miles an hour. And then, of course, when you get some of those severe storms, you could get the damaging winds of 70 to 80 miles an hour. They said the biggest threat with this storm system that's coming through later today should be high winds and hail, but they would not rule out the possibility of an isolated tornado. So definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on as we go into the overnight hours. And Weather Eye will keep you updated if any warnings are issued for our area. Right now, nothing much showing up on the radar throughout the 4-state region. just very warm and windy here on this Monday afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get one of our pre-recorded interviews as part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. And you can look at your local stockyards for the special edition of the Stockman's Record, the 7 Barns in 7 Days edition from KRMO Ag Source Radio. It's got page after page of useful information and ads from our advertisers that all help benefit folks in the world of agriculture. There's page after page to keep your cow and bull data, also breeding records, VFD page information with the veterinary feed directive regulations that are in effect now. There's pages in there to keep track of that. There's pages to keep track of pasture usage, also supplement records, all types of information right there at your fingertips. 7 Barns in 7 Days, Stockman's Record Book, and we've got them today here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, and they'll be showing up at your other local sale barns in the next couple of weeks. But for now, we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we're going to visit with the folks from Biozyme Incorporated out of St. Joseph, Missouri.
Hey folks, Sean here at the Concrete Works. We're located at the end of the rainbow, and we do things the old-fashioned way. We mine our own gravel, we batch our own concrete, we build our own custom forms, and every day we put the concrete into the forms. Your cattle will be happy campers eating out of our field bunks, line bunks, wide J bunks, commodity feed bunks, and freeze-proof stock tanks too. We'll bring them to your farm on our own locomotive. And remember, folks, that ain't no bull.
clear. I'm sorry. Sammy?
Yes.
Okay. I had the phone off. I just hadn't switched off the handset, so they couldn't have heard anything.
Oh, okay.
I had the phone off on the board, so before I start talking to you. So anyway, I'm playing a Dodge Ram ad. I've got a Salyers and Sons and a Ziggy's ad. Do you want me to play those, or?
Do the Salyers and Sons ad, and then after that you can send it back because I've got Stacy with us and she's ready to talk. So.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, we've been doing this about 4 or 5 years, and we usually have somebody from either our Brownfield network or our Radio Oklahoma network or something like that, Missouri Net, and we get one of those folks to come here and kind of make a day event out of it. But this year we come up with this 7 barns in 7 days and traveling around to a lot of the sale barns and visiting with folks. And we were at Fort Scott Saturday. We're here today. We go to Green Forest, Arkansas Wednesday at North Ark, and then we go to Lebanon Thursday. Then we go back down to Springdale to Farmers Livestock Friday. Then we go to Springfield next Wednesday, and then we go to Coffeyville next Thursday. So, yeah, and then the next week's National Ag Week, so we'll be up at Columbia at the University of Missouri up there for that. So, these
okay.
Yes.
I went ahead and went into Ziggy's because you were talking. We're coming up on 15 seconds.
Okay.
What do you want me to play after your interview? Do you want me to go to that commodity update?
Yes, please. That'll be perfect.
Okay. All right. 5 seconds.
Okay.
3, 2, and 1.
Sammy Clapper back with you. The Joplin Regional Stockyards, part of Farming in the 4 States, 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. We're live here on the road today at Joplin Regional. It is a sale day, and we're set up here in the cafe and very busy today here at Joplin Regional, as it always is on a sale day. And we're visiting with folks around the area here today, and we've got the special opportunity. Mark Harmon, general manager here at Joplin Regional, has lined up a guest for us, and Stacy Roth, sales rep from Bear, is here today. And they have representatives drop by throughout the region every week at the sale markets. And Stacy's here today, and he has wrangled Stacy into visiting with us. And I do say wrangled because she wasn't prepared for this, but we do appreciate her time doing this today and coming up with some information for us. So first of all, Stacy, thank you very much for taking time to do this.
Thanks for having me.
Well, again, as we mentioned, you are with Bear, and I guess we'll first of all talk a little bit about what Bear is and what you do.
Sure. Bear has a lot of different divisions. I work in the animal health division. We have quite a few different products. We have a bunch of insecticides such as tags, porons, baits, sprays. We also have BRD products such as Baytril 100, Zelnate, so lots of great products for this market.
What type of coverage area do you have here in the 4 states?
I cover the entire state of Missouri, and then we have other reps in Arkansas, Oklahoma, things like that.
Well, what we're going to talk with Stacy about today, of course, it seems like springtime out there right now, even though the calendar still says it is wintertime, but spring is right around the corner, and that means fly season's almost here. So Bear has the insecticide ear tags, and we're going to let Stacy talk a little bit about that. And this has become a program that when it got started many, many years ago, it was a pretty simplified type of thing. They just had a little insecticide on the tag. You put them in, you let them go. But now there are fly control programs set up by folks like you that help the livestock producers, and the improvements with the tags have come so far from when they first started. So talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Bear has 3 different tags that we currently market: Patriots, Corathons, and Silence Ultras. The Patriots and the Corathons are what we call an organophosphate tag, and that's the chemical class of tag. And the Silence Ultras are a pyrethroid tag. A lot of the questions that I get is, you know, what tag should I use this year? How do I know? Should I rotate? Should I trade them out? And rotation of chemical class is actually a good idea. You can probably use these tags a couple years, and then it's a good idea to switch to another tag, or another chemical class, I should say. You don't just want to switch the color of tag, you want to switch the chemical class of tag, so that way the flies don't build up resistance to that chemical class. So rotation is a good idea. Again, we have 3 great tags that we offer. And in addition to that, like you mentioned before, you know, it's more than just expecting the tag to control all flies. Bear has what we call a defense point strategy, where if you do 4 different things in your operation, you should have a very good fly control program. For example, those 4 defense points are doing something on animal, a feed through, doing something in the environment, and then the facility. So, for example, the on animal would be like putting in an insecticide fly tag, porons, sprays, dusts. A feed through would be like an oral larvicide that you put through the feed or the mineral, such as Raybon. The environment, any sprays, baits, facility, again, sprays, baits, dusts. So if you can hit even, 3 of those categories, you're going to have a more comprehensive fly control program.
How long do these tags last nowadays? I know when they originally came out, the length of the effectiveness of the tag didn't quite last as long. That's something also that has improved. About how long do they last now?
Definitely. The tags that we have are labeled for 5 months, and they are made of a fiber tech material, so they're able to hold more of that active ingredient. So tags have come a long way, and I think some of the important things that producers need to know is we've had studies shown that if you just use fly tags, you can increase your gain 12 pounds. So they really do pay for themselves. It's a new material, and then the actives are excellent, and you probably would get 5 months. And depending on the rain, if you have had a big rain, you want to give that tag a couple days for that product, that active ingredient, to spread back over. So make sure that you remember that.
So that's the one thing. I mean, they go right through the fly season. They start in the springtime and they last all the way through the summer that way.
Definitely.
I know another thing is, like you talked about, some of the fly control programs that you use, and it's not just the ear tags, it's a total management system to go on through. But like you were talking, people don't realize of how much an impact the flies have. Now, when they get extremely heavy fly problems on their cattle, they start to notice it. But even some of your more minor outbreaks of fly problems, it can still affect when you bring your cattle to the livestock market.
Exactly. And I would recommend, there's 4 different species of flies, and our tags are labeled for them. But if you want more information on flies, or even how to do better things in your environment and your facility, your operation, I go to bearlivestock.com, because they've got very good educational material on the different species. For example, like face flies can contribute more to pink eye, or those stable flies that get down on the legs. That's when you see cattle bunching in the corner of a pasture, and I've seen them push calves through fences, because all the cattle are trying to get into the middle and not be bit by those flies.
Right.
So, there's lots of damage due, fence, facilities, things like that flies can cause. So it really is important to pay attention to that and try to take care of that.
Again, we're visiting with Stacy Roth, sales rep from Bayer, talking about insect control with the insecticide ear tags. And again, give that website again for folks if they do have any questions and how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. It's www.bayer, B-A-Y-E-R, livestock, all one word, .com.
Well, Stacy, again, thank you very much. Getting called to duty here today on Farming the Four States, an unexpected call to duty, but we do appreciate you taking time and visiting with us about a very important product.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, we're going to go ahead and jump to commodity update from Brownfield, and then we'll be back here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour.
Hey folks, Sean here at the Concrete Works. We're located at the end of the rainbow, and we do things the old-fashioned way. We mine our own gravel, we batch our own concrete, we build our own custom forms, and every day we put the concrete into the forms. Your cattle will be happy campers eating out of our field bunks, line bunks, wide J bunks, commodity feed bunks, and freeze-proof stock tanks too. We'll bring them to your farm on our own locomotive, and remember folks, that ain't no bull.
15 seconds.
Okay, we'll do the managing for profit out of this. After I talk to Doc, we'll do the managing for profit.
Okay. 5 seconds. Ready, and 3, 2, and 1.
Sammy Clapper back with you here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards here on Farming the Four States, KRMO AM 990, part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour. We're live here at Joplin Regional this afternoon. It is a sale day and lots of activity. We're set up here in the cafe, and again, a lot of people coming in today and a lot of cattle going through the sale ring today as well. You've been seeing that here on our web TV channel. Well, we were going to try to visit with someone from the Joplin Regional Stockyards, and we've got lined up for us Doc Haskins. And Doc has been associated with Joplin Regional how many years now?
It's been 30 years now.
30 years. Of course, you grew up, raised in this area. You've been
Grew
around
up,
Southwest
raised in this
Missouri.
area. I've done large animal practice in this area for 47 years.
So you've been a vet. You've seen a little bit of everything come and go over the years,
seen
haven't you?
things.
A lot of improvements and advancements in the world of veterinary medicine as well.
You bet. But we see a lot of changes.
And you see so much and you hear so much talked about herd health today, and sometimes that kind of goes in one ear and out the other. But for folks that are actually involved in the cattle industry, herd health is so important, and it starts with getting in touch with their veterinarian and getting a good program set up.
Right. They need to have people need to have a relationship with their veterinarian and get advice from them. Even though sometimes they are reluctant to do so, I think it's a very good thing. And to maintain good herd health and good biosecurity is utmost important. And, as the market has gotten cheaper, we're on a lesser margin of profit, and it becomes even more and more important.
Well, they used to. The only time they called the vet was when an animal got sick, but is what you're just talking about, getting a program set up. Nowadays is even more important because with the new VFD guidelines that went into effect at the beginning of the year, you have to have that relationship with your vet to make sure that program runs smoothly.
Yes, you do. And the VFD program, it's here to stay. We have a new sheriff in town, if you will, in President Trump, but I think that's something that's here to stay because consumers require it, they demand it, and I think we got to do that in order to market our product. Without it, we're going to have a problem because of bacterial resistance, drug resistance that we talk about a lot. Whether we create drug resistance in veterinary medicine is that jury's still out on that. I'm not a believer, but also I know that it's something we're going to have to do. And the VFD is not that big a problem. We tend to make a lot bigger problem out of it than it is. And I've been to a lot of meetings in the last year and a half on it, and each time I go to another meeting, I get more confused. But we've been issuing a lot of VFDs, and we've been doing this. It's working very, very well. What we do, if it's not a regular client and we haven't been on their premises in the last 6 months, we require a farm visit, which is somewhere around $60. Then a VFD, we use a computerized program, which Global Vet Links, which we have to pay for each VFD that we issue, and we charge for the VFD. And we've been charging about $25. So you can get a VFD for medicated feed for your cattle for somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 to $115 or $20. That's good for 6 months. Then you can go on and maintain a relationship with that veterinarian, and then all he has to do is reissue another one. And those VFDs, depending on what product, what drug you're using, and how you're doing it, but most of those are good for 6 months. Anaplasmosis mineral that contains CTC, orimycin, if you will, the VFD is good for 6 months, so you have to have 2 a year. So you're talking about possibly costing you somewhere, $150 to $75. So it's not prohibitive, and if you have a relationship with a veterinarian, it's not going to cost you near that much because in our practice we don't charge that if we're there and we routinely do work for these people. All we charge for is a VFD.
And one thing about this, I think it came out, the information about this started coming out 2 or 3 years ago. And when people first heard about it, they were pretty nervous about it, and they didn't know what to expect. But the more meetings they went to and the more information that was put out by folks like you in the world of veterinary medicine to kind of let them know what was happening, everyone was pretty much prepared for it when it finally did go into effect. So the transition into it has been fairly smooth, hasn't it?
It's been real smooth, and the worst problem is our producers tend to go into the feed store and order a load of medicated feed, and they don't have a VFD, and they need the feed that day, and that's very poor planning, and that's our fault. I'm a producer myself, and that's just poor planning. You need to plan ahead, and you need to get your VFD in order and have it in line, where all you have to do is call the feed company, and we work with the feed companies very closely. They're good to work with, and we work together. And I might add one thing about this computer program that we're on. It will not allow us to write an incorrect VFD. It will not take it. So it's protection for all parties involved, really, but it's also protection for the veterinarian. But I don't think FDA is really, looking to penalize or imprison people over this. I think we have a 6-month grace period to make mistakes, and we'll make lots of them. But I think this thing's going to work fairly smoothly, and once you get started on it, it's a cup of tea. There's nothing to it.
And that's one thing. If everybody has to go to the doctor and get their medicine from the doctor, well, you treat your livestock the exact same way. You don't go to the drugstore and say, I need my medication, and then go get the prescription. It's the other way around. So you get that VFD first, and then you go to the feed store and order your feed.
That's correct. And the question that I get asked many, many times is, what about injectable antibiotics? What about the injectables? LA300, over-the-counter products that you guys use out there daily, those products will not be affected at all. It's only feed additives, and so therefore those products are not involved, and you don't have to have a prescription or a VFD or anything. You just continue to do what you've been doing in the past.
Again, we're here at the Joplin Regional Stockyards today, part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour on KORMO, and we're visiting with Doc Haskins. Another thing I wanted to ask you before I let you go, here last winter, we had an outbreak here in southwest Missouri of trichomoniasis, and I mean, Berry County at one time was the #1 county in the state for that. Veterinarians and cattle producers have been battling that now. How is the battle on that going on? How are we doing on that?
We're gaining on that. People are becoming more and more aware. Most people are getting introduced to trichomoniasis, and that is a dreadful disease. It's a bad disease. It's a bankrupting disease, and it's one disease that I hoped 50 years ago when I was in veterinary school I'd never get to see, but I did, and it's a tough disease. But if you stay on top of it, and just for precaution once a year, if you would trick test those herd sires once a year and monitor your situation at home, you can control it. You got to be very proactive, and then if you do get it, it can be eradicated from the herd, but it takes, you got to get rid of all the bulls. You got to go in there and pull the bulls out for 6 months, then go in and preg check the cows, and everything that hasn't either had a baby calf in the last 6 months or not at least 4 months pregnant, get rid of those cows, and in a year's time you can pretty well get it cleaned up. And we have done very well. We've decreased the amount of trick we have, but unfortunately these animals, these bulls and cows, cross fences, jump fences, and they spread it from farm to farm, and it's really, really hard to get it under control because you never know where to stop testing. But if each individual producer will test his own cows, his bulls, even if he's 2 or 3 miles from an outbreak, go ahead and test those bulls, and then you know whether or not you have it, and that way you can stay ahead of it.
Yeah, most of the time your bull sales at your livestock markets, they're tested for trick anyway. But another really useful tool, the University of Missouri Extension Service has been doing it now for several years, the bull breeding soundness clinics, and now they not only have one in the spring, they have one in the fall as well. So if you have any questions, you can take your bull to one of those bull breeding soundness clinics, have it tested, and you'll know right away.
Right, and we do a lot of breeding soundness evaluations on bulls over at our clinic, and we we promote trick testing. We try to get people to do that. We have one of the breeding soundness clinics sponsored by the University of Missouri Extension, and some people just don't want to do it. But you know, I'm pretty heavy-handed, and I twist their arm and I tell them, look, it's for your benefit, not mine. And really, you need to do it because it's something that you really need to know.
And I
It'll
know
help you.
now that the livestock producers have found out, like you said, here in our area, they've been doing a great job of trying to jump out and get ahead of it and get it stopped.
Right. And producers of, you know, back in the brucellosis days, 40 years ago, it was a tough deal, and we had a lot of problems. People tried to hide those cows, but they're not doing that with trick. And the producers out here, I'm proud of them. They're doing a good job. And if they have it, they want to know it, and they want to get it cleaned up. And we can do that, but we got to all work together.
That's exactly right. Well, Doc, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for visiting with us.
You bet. You're very welcome.
Doc Haskins here at the Joplin Regional Stockyard, 7 barns in 7 days. We're going to send it back to the studios for just a little bit. We're getting close to the end of today's program, and then we'll be back to wrap things up.
Hey folks, Sean here at the Concrete Works. We're located at the end of the rainbow, and we do things the old-fashioned way. We mine our own gravel, we batch our own concrete, we build our own custom forms, and every day we put the concrete into the forms. Your cattle will be happy campers eating out of our field bunks, line bunks, wide J bunks, commodity feed bunks, and freeze-proof stock tanks too. We'll bring them to your farm on our own locomotive, and remember folks, that ain't no bull.
You said Pierce City. 5. That went fast. All right, ready? And 3, 2, and 1.
All right, back at the Joplin Regional Stockyards, just about ready to wrap things up today, part of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour, and we're here day number 2 of our 7 barns that we will be visiting, and Joplin Regional is the site today, and we are about ready to wrap things up and get you on to the 1 o'clock hour. The hour and 15, 20 minutes has went by quickly, as it always does, and we appreciate all the folks here today for all the courtesies, and enjoyed coming over and visit with the folks at Joplin Regional. We do this from time to time here on AM 990, especially on sale days. There's always a lot of activity going on, cattle continuing to be going through the sale ring, as you can see on Web TV, and they'll continue selling cattle throughout the rest of the afternoon. But our time here on 7 Barns in 7 Days, special Farm in the 4 States edition, is about to wrap up. We'd like to thank General Manager Mark Harmon and all of the Moore family for having us over today. We appreciate all of their hospitality. Also, thanks to Stacy Roth, sales representative from Bayer, talking to us about what Bayer has to offer in the world of insecticide ear tags and their fly control programs. We appreciate Stacy for visiting with us. We also had a couple of pre-recorded interviews from our sponsors and advertisers of our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour, and we thank them for their time as well. And then a big thank you to Doc Haskins as he was filling in. We were trying to get Bailey Moore to visit, but he has been down at the sale ring working hard all morning, and Doc graciously volunteered to come up and visit with us and talk a little bit about the VFD and how it has moved into implementation. And then I was glad he was able to visit with us a little bit about the trichomoniasis as well, because it was just back about 3 months ago. Berry County here in southwest Missouri was the #1 county in the state for that disease, but cattle producers are already starting to get out in front of that and start to get that curbed, as they always do. They take care of their products very, very well and their produce, because their livestock that they market are going on to you, the consumer, and they want to make sure they have the healthiest, most beneficial product that they can offer to the consumers, and that is one of the reasons why they do what they do. So already starting to get a little handle on that and get that controlled here in our area as well. So we appreciate Doc Haskins for giving us an update on that. Well, I'd like to thank Janet back at the studios also for helping us out today, getting us on the air. All of our sponsors of 7 Barns in 7 Days, and you can find those sponsors in the special edition of the Stockman's Record that is on locations now at the sale barns around the area. We'll continue delivering those over the next couple of weeks. We've got them here today at the Joplin Regional Stockyards. The special 7 Barns in 7 Days edition of the Stockman's Record Book with all the beneficial pages inside to keep track of your breeding records, your cow-calf data, also your VFD information, pasture usage, bull records. There's also information in there about the sale barns we've been visiting, and that's all the special edition of the 7 Barns in 7 Days Stockman's Record Book, and you can find them today at the Joplin Regional Stockyards. And if you don't have one at your local sale barn, let them know to contact us at KRMO Ag Source Radio, and we'll be delivering some of those to their sale barn for you to get this valuable information, and contact information from all of our sponsors as well. That's the 7 Barns in 7 Days Stockman's Record Book at your local sale barn. Let's see, am I missing anything? Looks like I've got everything taken care of here that we were going to try to cover today. Appreciate Daisy coming along with us again, running the camera for us on Web TV, getting you some live video feed of what's going on today here at Joplin Regional. They'll be having their cow and bull sale coming up on Wednesday, their weekly cow and bull sale. And then Mark Harmon was talking to us earlier today when we got here. They're having another special cow sale coming up, not this Saturday, but a week from this Saturday. They just had a special cow and bull sale last Saturday. Hilltop Farms was involved in that with some of their Gelbvieh and Balancer cow and bulls, and then along with the regular monthly cow and bull sale, another special cow sale coming up a week from this Saturday here at Joplin Regional, and we'll be getting that information relayed to you on our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour, and as well as our weekly Farming in the 4 States show here on KRMO. Well, it's 73 degrees, overcast and windy, and those winds are going to remain gusty all afternoon. Sustained winds out of the south, 25 to 30 miles an hour. Gusts up around 40 miles an hour are already being reported at the Joplin Regional Airport, and those winds are going to continue to howl all day, and that's going to bring in the frontal system that's going to kick off the storms later tonight. 40% chance of rain this afternoon. Tonight, 90% chance of rain. Some of those storms could become severe overnight, so Weather Eye will update you if any warnings are put into effect right here on AM 990. 60 and sunny for Tuesday, and then back up close to 70 by Wednesday. And that's when we'll be back with you here on KRMO Wednesday when we join you live from Green Forest, Arkansas at the North Arkansas Livestock Market as our 7 Barns in 7 Days tour continues Wednesday from Green Forest. Everyone have a great rest of your day, and we will visit with you again midweek.
Clear.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great job.